Welcome back. This is our probably our last uh, video on the book of Esther. I believe this is number 20. And we begin in chapter 10, book of Esther, chapter 10. King Ahasuerus imposed tribute throughout the empire to its distant shores, and all his acts of power and might, together with a full account of the greatness of Mordecai to which the king had raised him, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Media and Persia? Mordecai the Jew was second in rank to King Ahasuerus, preeminent among the Jews and held in high esteem by his many fellow Jews, because he worked for the good of his people, and he spoke up for the welfare of all the Jews. Now, King Ahasuerus, just like all the kings in those days, even today, everything is recorded that they do. If you will watch the president whenever he makes an executive order or whenever they pass something in Congress, it's all written out, and then people sign it, and the originals are kept in a safe place. But we get copies out here, and we can get a copy of all the executive orders that the president, or let's just go back to President Nixon. That was a long time ago. He's just the first one popped in my mind. Everything that he did and everything that surrounded all of his presidency was recorded and is kept even to this day. It is kept in a safe place. So yes, we can go back and we can see what all he did, what kind of laws that he made, what kind of executive orders he required, things like this. So we have King Ahasuerus imposed tribute throughout the empire. Now, kings they would take their armies and they would go to different countries wherever they could, and they would beat up this country and take them over. And then they would set up a local government there within that country. But that government's idea was to provide so much grain, or so many horses, or so much cattle, or so many sheep, or so much gold to the empire, to the king himself, for the empire. It was not just you're part of our country, but you don't have to pay us anything. Okay, now it says it's tribute. Today we might call it taxes. Okay, and this being about the middle of April, tax day was kind of flat this year because of other things that were going on. But we hate paying taxes. We're Americans, but we hate paying taxes. And so just think about your taxes for a moment. Even within the city that you live, you get money from the federal government and from the state government for these cities to help pay for the firemen, to help pay for the police force, to help with the streets, the infrastructure, the sewer lines, everything. You get part of that money back for the entire community. Okay, and so yes, sometimes it might seem we pay too much, but the king would impose a tribute throughout the empire. But he also gave a full account of Mordecai. and how that Mordecai was always looking out for his fellow Jews. Now, we elect these people and send them to Congress, to send them to Senate. In our state, we do the same thing. We elect mayors. All of these people are our voice in that body. Okay, and they're supposed to be looking out for our good. Okay, it says that in verse 3, chapter 10, Mordecai the Jew was second in rank to King Ahasuerus, preeminent among the Jews. He's my man, and held in high esteem by his many fellow Jews. And here's why he was held in high esteem and honored greatly: because he worked for the good of his people. He worked for the good of his people. The man of God will work for the good of his people, not for his gain, not for the gain of money or prosperity. He will work for the good of the people. If you remember back, Mordecai, the minute that he found out of this decree of Haman, he put on sackcloth. That's tosack. Very rough burlap cloth. And went and cried at the king's gate. Esther was very upset because she knew that nobody in burlap, nobody in mourning, nobody crying could go to the king's gate. She was afraid for his personal safety. Mordecai put aside his personal safety and went there to show the mourning and the trauma that the Jews were in. And so we have that he was extremely held in high esteem and was worked for the good of all his people and spoke up for the welfare of all the Jews. He spoke up. First, he told Esther. He asked Esther, go to the king, help. He could have just said, well, that's their problem, it's not mine. I think I'll go to Boogistan or somewhere and get away so that they can't kill me. He was there for the welfare of the people.